Hello, it's Tom Llewellyn, and this is second in a series of 5 videos on how do you increase economic activity from 2.5% to 4.5% to 5%. We talked about the 501k and increasing wealth of everybody and kind of fixing the financial problems of a retirement system. Today, it's kind of the two, these are fundamentally important to our success this century. It's like how do we fight the war on poverty and actually reduce poverty, which our programs haven't done over the last 40 years? And then how do we assure that the 2/3 of kids that aren't getting to proficiency levels in our education system actually get there? And we'll talk a little bit about education enterprise zones, and then on the welfare and poverty parts, our success factors. And so let me go to the war on poverty first. For the last 50 years, the very, core principle of fighting poverty is to send checks to individuals or free stuff or give them services or rent control, whatever. There's 1,000 programs, literally. And the notion behind it, very subtly, although I don't know anybody who admit it, though it's true, is that the big problem with poverty is a lack of money. It's like, that's not the case. Poverty isn't caused by a lack of money, it's caused by a lack of human capital, right? And that's why education enterprise zone and civil success factors actually go together as a single unified war on poverty, the new war on poverty, the 21st century view. And how does it work? So the very first step in anti-poverty begins in kindergarten, right? If you have 13 successful years of education from K to 12, the chances that that child becoming an adult and doing well are pretty good. They're not perfect, but they are pretty good, right? So let's go through that. So 2/3 of the kids today in our high schools that either do or don't graduate are not reading, writing, doing math, or science, about 2/3 on average, at proficiency levels. It means even if they wanted to go to college, they're not prepared, right? So that's terrifying to me. And like 8,000 schools have been, failing schools probably for 40 or 50 years where parents are trapped, not able to have any other choices. So the first fix, education enterprise zones, is give the parents the right to the education, not the states, the parents, and allow them to have the same opportunities that rich parents do. And get some competition so the parents have enough choices that they can find a school that's going to do well for their children. That's a first step. The second step, I guess maybe the second benefit in doing this is we really need to raise the IQ of our nation again. And I say again because unbeknownst to me, after I did some fact checking, and research is that, last century, we actually improved our IQ by about 30 points, primarily because our requirements for education or desire to get a better education improved. We increased requirements from sixth grade to 12th grade early on in the 20th century. And then World War II, afterwards, we had the GI Bill, a couple million guys at least went to college. And we started building, right? So we had more educated people that could go to college, and then more educated people that did go to college, right? And so all that good stuff happened in the first 7 decades, improved our IQ about 30 points, which is amazing, right? So here's the deal. Don't forget this. If you get a good education, your IQ goes up, right? Here's the worst part. If you get a bad education, it could go down or stay flat. It's not good. When you think 2/3 of our kids are not at proficiency in the main subjects, it means they are going nowhere. So if you start doing better on the education side, that feeds into a real war on poverty. It's like, how do you keep people out of the welfare system? And you do it by, one, getting a good education. And then second, if they get that, their ability to get that first job and launch themselves into great economic success is increased. Well, guess what else increases? The willingness, especially of women, but men too, to protect that education. The more you get, the more likely you're protected and wait, not only for marriage, but to have kids. Then, guess what happens? And these are the success factors. If you get a good education, you keep learning, even on the job, get a good job and get better at the job, get married, and then have kids, 98% of the time, you don't need any help from the government, which would mean if we do those things, poverty goes down. Wouldn't that be nice, right? An amazing thing, right? But if you do all those things, poverty will go down, education will go up, our attainment will go up, our IQ will go up, our incomes per person will go up, right? You get another half percentage point growth, right? So maybe 1% from the 501k, about a half here. We're already closing in on that 2.5% we need, and we've just got 2 videos, right? So if we just did smart stuff and quit politicizing was that a bad word? Every damn thing? Man, we'd be way ahead of the game. Anyway, I'm Tom Llewellyn. Next video should be fun. How do you simplify and innovate in government? Thanks.